All right, here we are. Recap Roundtable 19.5, last one for this CrossFit Open season until we start again in October. So we have myself, we have Mitch Babcock there in the background, we have Zach Morgan, we have Dustin Jones, and then not pictured is Allie Hartman, and then we'll have some other folks get spliced in here later on. So Allie has to go soon, so we'll throw it over to Allie. Allie, talk us through your 19.5 experience. And then also talk us through kind of your whole CrossFit Open experience. I think this was your first CrossFit Open, so just kind of tell us your thoughts on the Open as a whole after you talk about 19.5.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Yes, this was my first CrossFit Open. Funny side story that I just thought of. Shout out to the fitness athlete crew because I started CrossFit. I think it's like I don't know, time is weird, maybe like 2.5 years ago, but essentially the clinical management of the fitness athlete course inspired me to start CrossFit, and it has been some of the most, well, it's been the most fun that I've had in sort of my own fitness journey, and I've had a lot of different kind of avenues that I've went, but this is the one that I feel like has really stuck, so just shout out to that crew. But 19.5 was horrible. I still can't really walk. Yesterday I had to, like, if I bent essentially my knees, like if I bent like 10 degrees at my knees, I had to brace myself to even sit down on a chair, toilet. I was like max assist. So it's pretty bad, but at the same, I think honestly it's the hardest CrossFit workout I've ever done. My legs, like, you know, it's bad when during the workout your legs are really sore, like 5 seconds. I had never done chest to bar pull-ups, so that was really exciting because I was able to do them throughout the whole workout.
Allie, let me interrupt you here. Maybe as you're describing what sounds like your own death, we'll describe the workout for those who don't know it. 19.5 was thrusters, so a full squat into an overhead press at 95 pounds for men, 65 pounds for women, and chest to bar pull-ups, and the rep scheme was 33, 27, 21, 15, 9. So if you did the whole thing, you had to do 105 thrusters and 105 chest to bar pull-ups. So obviously with that many thrusters, now you know why Allie is describing such extreme leg symptoms. Okay, back to you, Allie.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, so by the time I got back to the pull-up bar for the second set of pull-ups, I like jumped up and I did singles on the chest to bars, and like I came down off the bar and I felt this sense of like, oh my gosh, I don't think my legs are gonna hold me up just coming off the bar, let alone doing more thrusters. But I made it. And I survived, and it was probably the biggest sense of accomplishment for the past 2 days that I felt. So all in all, it was horrible, but it was a super fun workout to watch other people do and suffer through. And seeing people, like in our gym, it seemed like there was so many people who just exceeded what they believed they were capable of. And to me, that has been the overarching theme of the Open. This is my first Open. It just has never worked out for me to do it before, and I've been just moved by the sense of community, whether it was people doing scaled or people doing RX or whatever. It was just this sense of overall everybody that participated pushing themselves and exceeding what they believed their capacity was. And I think that has such power as we move forward into kind of, it almost, I think for me and the people that I've observed, it creates a launch point to push us forward in our training and say, wow, those are limitations that I thought I had or things that I didn't know that I was capable of. And when applied a little pressure onto me, I was capable of so much more than I thought. And I think that is powerful in fitness. I think it's powerful in health, but I think it's powerful in life. And so, you know, I know the Open, especially this year, it seemed like it got a lot of flack, but I encourage people who are kind of giving it that flack to reflect on what it's really about to those that aren't, you know, elite athletes or those that aren't really in it for the score. It's more of just, can I beat myself? Can I beat my own this is a medium that helps people to do that, then more power to it.
Awesome. Let's throw it over to you, Dustin. Dustin just finished 19.5 this morning.
I don't want to follow that. You should just end the recording right there with that little sermon.
And cut.
Sermon. That was amazing. Oh, Allie, good stuff. That was really encouraging to hear. Okay, where do I start? So start with the workout, right? 19.5. So I just finished it. Honestly, I was trying to avoid it. I had a chance to do it on Friday. Christina Previtt and I were in Deadwood, South Dakota teaching a course, and we got in kind of late Friday, and she's super pregnant, and I was really tired after traveling. So we were like, yeah, let's not go to the CrossFit box and drop in. We'll just get dinner. So I was like, okay, I made it out of this one. And I was like, well, I'm going to go work out this morning here, and I'm still in South Dakota. And I showed up at the gym, and they were all doing 19.5. And I was like, shit, I got to do it now. So yeah, that was kind of unexpected. I had a strategy of just start with 5s or 3s, and then go to singles pretty quick, just kind of chip away at it. I was really encouraged because I started in November. I remember at the L1, which was I think January, I went to an L1 in Ohio, and they have like the L1 workout. I think it's like 21, 15, 9, 95-pound thrusters, and I think it was burpees, if I recall. And I couldn't do the thrusters. Like I could do like a couple reps at 95 pounds. So I did like 65 or 75 pounds, and that was miserable. So it was really cool to go at it with a 95-pound thruster for this. So I started off with 5s the first round, and I was doing okay. Then I got to the pull-up bar, and that was really surprising because I always thought like I'm pretty good at pull-ups, but I guess I've never done chest-to-bar pull-ups. I've just done kind of chin over the bar. And my Lord, so I started off with 5. I was like, okay, I'm going to go down to 3. And then it was like 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And so by the end of it, I think the biggest limiting factor for me was the pull-ups, but I wanted to keep trying to do the chest-to-bar pull-ups just so whenever, I do this again, I'll have a good, comparison. So I got into the 21 thrusters. I got 12 of those. So it was like 132. And I wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't feel like completely gassed, like I had to like collapse and fall on the ground afterwards. Just because like the pull-ups like were the biggest like limiting factor for me, and those just took so long, and I didn't go to like the jumping pull-ups. So I mean, it was hard. I probably could have pushed myself a little more. But that was a cool moment for me, just like being able to see, man, I was able to do however many thrusters, and I couldn't even do like 3 or 4 at that same weight, just even a couple months ago. So 19.5 was awesome. It was cool. It was kind of sad but cool to end it at another gym. I kind of missed like my community, back in Lexington to end it at Friday Night Lights, but that was neat. In terms of the Open, I'm not going to try and top Allie, but this has been a pretty significant event in my life and my wife's life, for sure. We've been kind of competitive athletes. I ran track in college and she did soccer, and then as soon as college stopped, we just kind of, we were just kind of recreationally active, if you will. We exercised, but there wasn't that element of competition or that shared struggle with other people. And to go through these 5 weeks knowing that these other people, whether it's the people in my gym, but then you all as well, because we've got our own little ice community, has just been really fun. Like, I look forward to Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm looking forward to Friday to do the workout, and then I'm looking forward to Saturday and Sunday to see how everyone else is doing, and seeing all the pictures come around. And it was like a weekly event for us that our week almost revolved around, which I never would have thought that would have happened. And now I'm sad that the Open is over. Like, it's like, okay, back to just, going to the gym, which is great, but it was just a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed that I was able to participate kind of early on and just kind of get thrown right into the Open season with all the excitement. So I'm still like the newbie, still in the honeymoon phase. I know I'll probably, just kind of come off the high point here pretty soon, but yeah, it was just a really cool experience. I know my wife would echo the same.
I don't know that phase ends. I don't know that phase ends. It's been over a year now for me, and I still feel that way. So I think that's normal.
You're a special individual, Alan.
I'm not sure how to take that.
In the best way possible.
I guess let's hear from Mitch, and then we'll throw it over to Zach, who hasn't done it yet, but we'll just hear his thoughts on how he's going to approach it and kind of his thoughts on the Open in general. He's a seasoned CrossFit athlete, and then I'll wrap it up for us. So, Mitch, give us your thoughts.
I'm sorry. This microphone just makes. What do I do? Tell me something, girl. I just watched A Star Is Born last night. I'm feeling extra Bradley Cooper today. Back on track, CrossFit. So 19.5 was the one I dreaded the most. You knew it was coming. Every year during the fifth week of the Open, you're going to see thrusters and likely some pull-up combinations. Going to be chest to bar. It was just a matter of what's the weight and what's the rep scheme, and this one was lethal. Thankfully, descending reps. I would rather have descending than ascending. I think mentally you get that crest the hump of I've got my big sets behind me and I've got some smaller sets coming up. But they stretched that time cap out there so long that they wanted everyone to hurt, and so there was no hiding in this workout. So 33 and then 27. So let's take this personally. How did I approach that? I took that as that's like workout A was the first 60 reps, and then workout B was the 21-15-9 in the back end. And I thought if I could get my goal, as stupid as it was to try to do part one, the first 60 reps in 6 minutes, and then have around 6 minutes to do part two, the 21-15-9. So I was thinking, man, a 12-minute time would be really, really sweet. I finished in 13:12, so I was just a little bit off that pace. But I did that first part in around 7-ish minutes. And after watching a lot of people go and what everyone says, you come out the gate way too high. And with a workout that has 105 thrusters and 105 chest to bar, if you come out the gate too hot in that, you just gave yourself a prison sentence for the next 18 minutes. So very slow, very methodical. I did 3 sets of 11, but took big rest breaks in between, like close to 10 seconds before I picked the bar back up again. And chest to bars felt good. I thought that was really where I was going to lose a lot of time. Usually my grip gives away from me, and I can't stand the bar long enough. But that held on, and thankfully I was able to kind of hold a strategy of 3 sets on the thruster every round. So 11s, and then I did 3 sets of 9, and then 3 sets of 7. And then in the round of 15, I did 9 and 6. In the round of 9, I went unbroken to finish it off, and then I had a good time. So reflecting back this year, you get a lot of slack, like you were saying, like the Open this year got a lot of slack from CrossFit media kind of unplugging a little bit from, putting a lot of money into the games and competitive CrossFit sports season, and kind of this being the turnover year for a lot of outsourced third-party companies to step in and really take over that market. So we're kind of in this lull or this transition point, but nonetheless, we had the highest rate. We had the most members of our gym sign up for the Open. We had 65 sign up. We split them up into teams, so there was this friendly in-house competition, Team Black versus Team Blue. I think they were a really smart decision doing the custom leaderboards on ICE's page too, on CrossFit's page, because, yes, this is supposed to be fun, and yes, you're competing against yourself, but you can't help but feel ultra discouraged when you're competing against 400,000 people and you're like crying out loud, I'm way down the list, right? So that's just human nature to want to climb that leaderboard, and it's really, really hard and discouraging when it's just one leaderboard. So I think the idea of doing these custom leaderboards where, Team ICE can get together and we can talk a little smack to each other. CrossFit Fenton can have a leaderboard. You can custom make it with your friends across the country. I think that was a really smart move to get people excited again about just training and having fun and some good friendly camaraderie. So I think that was a good win for the Open. A lot of our members, every year I'm going to sit down tomorrow with a editor from the local newspaper, and we're going to talk about some of the wins in our gym. But people getting their first bar muscle up, people stringing together double unders for PR sets, people getting their first ever chest to bar, and then going on to do 50 or 60 more of them in a workout. They're just moments that, if you're not in CrossFit, you don't care, and if you're in CrossFit, you care so deeply. And in being in this environment and watching people work so hard day in, day out, and then something like the Open comes along, it forces them to take one big, gigantic step out of their comfort zone, and they realize how much more they can accomplish. It's just more than what you can put into words. So, yeah, the open comes with an inherent amount of stress, amount of like, where is my fitness this year? Have I gotten better? Have I addressed the things I need to work on? But with that comes all these victories inside of the gym, and I hope that everyone gets to step back and just watch the open unfold from a perspective of not just it's about me and my time and me competing, but like what's everyone else doing. So if your gym doesn't currently do a big Friday night light gathering or something like that where you can watch a lot of people work out, I'd really encourage you to drop in somewhere that does, or try to like manufacture that in your environment, because that's a whole new element that I was glad that we were able to experience this year. Yeah, that's what I got. CrossFit till I die.
All right, let's throw it over to Zach Morgan. Zach, you haven't done it yet, but let's hear your strategery, and then let's hear your thoughts in general on the open.
Yeah, sure. Echoing a lot of really good thoughts so far. Dustin, kind of what you were talking about with like, you finished and you almost felt like you had more to give. I can remember the first time doing Fran. It was probably 2010, and like I came into CrossFit, and I come from this world of working out in Globo gyms where like the question guys always ask each other was like, "What's your bench? What's your bench? Hey man, what do you bench?" And I had a decent bench. At that point in time, I was over 300 pounds on my bench press, so I was expecting to walk into CrossFit and everybody be sort of impressed. When I came in, it was, "What's your Fran?" And I'm thinking, what is Fran? And I remember the first time doing it, my movement patterns were terrible. But I was a meathead, and I muscled my way through probably like a 6-minute Fran. And it hurt, but I remember thinking like, that's not what they crack it up to be. And the better you get, the worse it gets. And so when I saw this announced, I thought, oh boy, here we go. I have been nervous I was nervous last week when you guys asked for the prediction, and I said, it's definitely going to look Franish. I thought it was going to be an ascending order. They somehow found a way to make it worse. So they put more than double chest bar Fran. So I agree, Mitch. I'm glad it's not ascending. I think they did a workout several years back where it was ascending, and they just had like an AMRAP. So it was like it started with 3-3, then 6-6, 9-9, 12-12, so on and so forth. And you had like 15 or 12 minutes to go as long as you could. That was a brutal workout. This is also a brutal workout. Like you said, we've got the 20-minute time cap, so you're going to have some time to suffer in there. Unfortunately, the better you get thrusters and pull-ups, the worse these things hurt. So I expect to finish. I hope to finish. My plan is to go like 12, 11, 10, kind of descending sets on the thrusters. And then pull-ups are always strong for me. Like I know I could do several sets unbroken, but I also know it would wipe me out, and everyone that's better than me is set to stick to 5s and 3s, so I guess that's what I'm going to do. I told myself that same thing on that handstand push-up workout, and I still blasted out like a set of 15 first, so I'm going to try to listen to advice this time.
Don't do that here.
Yeah. I'd say I'm not gonna, but I may get under that bar and think, why not go ahead and do 33 of these? But we'll see. I'm going to try my hardest to force myself to only do 5s at the most, because much better CrossFitters to me have said that's the way to go. So I'm not looking forward to doing this one, but I am looking forward to it being over. On the whole, the Open I think has been great this year. You guys have put it nicely. Like, they caught a lot of flack, but it's been just as much fun as it ever has for me. Honestly, it's actually been the most fun. So I haven't done the Open the last several years. When I was in undergrad, I was a pretty competitive CrossFitter. We had a team at my gym that often qualified for regionals and things like that. And so the Open was always a very high stress time for us. It was like, figure out the exact perfect strategy, who's going to do the best. You've got to really do well on this one because that's your strength, that's your wheelhouse, and then so-and-so's got to do well on the others so our team could have a really good score. But this one I haven't had that. Like, I'm no longer doing CrossFit competitively at all. I haven't done, if you call this a competition, this is the only competition I intend to do. And it's been really fun to do it this way. Just to go in, just like I always do, and do an hour work. You're there for an hour, you warm up, you work out. We hang out a little while after, watch some of our friends do it. That part has been cool because other than, for whatever reason, 19.2 stressed me out quite a bit. and this one's stressing me out quite a bit just because I know what it's going to feel like. But it's not stressful from like a get the best score standpoint. I just know I'm going to go out there, do what I can do, and hopefully put out an okay score that I can compare to next year and see where we've gotten. But I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun working with the ice crew through this, seeing everybody. Jeff and I were having a conversation last weekend, and he was talking about how like he longs for the day that CrossFit puts out a workout that's like a guts race, which his idea of a guts race is like a marathon, which I can appreciate. That would certainly be a guts race for me. But I'll be really curious to see if he doesn't think that this one was a guts race as he goes through. If so, then I think he's probably just not quite proficient enough at thrusters and pull-ups, because once you get there, it certainly becomes a guts race.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely think for the average person, this workout is, you look at it and you think, I've got to exercise for 20 minutes. How much work can I get done in 20 minutes? For most people, probably not, how fast can I finish, but how long can I hang on for? So that's the approach I took. Tweaked my back Monday doing a super long assault bike yoke carry workout, and then decided to throw 60 more. It was assault bike 12,000 meters, every 3 minutes stop and do 75-foot yoke carry at 365. And that was okay, but then I was feeling really good after, so I threw 60 more pounds on the yoke to PR it. And that's when I didn't feel a pop or anything, but I woke up the next day, and when I came into the gym, I did one good morning with an empty barbell and had terrible back pain. So bad that I couldn't bend over, and one of the other coaches here had to take my lifting shoes off. So, and that's not CrossFit's fault. That's my fault for being a dickhead and going much, much heavier than I should have under fatigue. So I was dealing with back pain all week because of that. Did some isometrics and reverse hypers and stuff on Wednesday and Thursday, and just keeping it moving and keeping it loaded, keeping it feeling well. So felt pretty good Friday. Warmed up. Spent all day Friday judging this workout, which I would not recommend. Just watching people suffer through this over and over and over again did not make me want to do it. Watching 20 people, there's nothing you can do. You can't say hey, go faster, right? That's not a good cue. So just watching people grind this out over and over again made me just want to warm up and hit it. So that's what I did. Felt pretty good during the warm up. Didn't have any back pain, and just went in with the mindset of just getting as much work done as I could in 20 minutes, and wanted to get through the round of 21, and I did. I got 3 thrusters into the round of 15. Never done a chest to bar during a workout before. Prior to this point, never really had the pulling power or the efficient kip to really get my chest up to the bar consistently, but surprised myself with being able to do a lot of them. Like Dustin said, thrusters are something that's always bugged me. I have a terrible front rack, and just kind of the high volume gasses me out. So I was surprised too that the thrusters didn't really feel like an issue. I did 9996 in the first round, and then after that I did quick threes all the way throughout, and that kept my heart rate pretty level. Didn't really redline at all. Was able to just kind of grind it out for 20 minutes and get through the round of 3 or 3 into the round of 15 thrusters. So I was happy overall with my score. Definitely a tough workout to watch for most people, just knowing that it's going to be suffering for 20 minutes, and you can't do anything to make it better. There's no strategy involved. Funny to watch videos over the weekend of different games athletes and stuff do this workout and just try different strategies and just burn themselves up. Watch somebody do a 25 unbroken for the first round and 33, and then just literally bend over for 90 seconds and not move, and then just struggle to finish. So it's fun to watch different strategies for those big sets and see how it treats people. This was my first CrossFit Open that I signed up for and did all the workouts in, so super cool to be able to participate in every workout and do even a little bit RX this year compared to last year. Probably more from the Pop Health side, looking at this from kind of an athlete side. This was eye-opening for me. I've never been on a sports team or been a competitive athlete. I was always heavier in school. I was never on sports teams. And just that pressure in front of 100 people when the timer goes on and my heart rate jumps to 150 and I'm just standing there, I don't care for that one bit. I could not do this. It's easy to look at the CrossFit Games athletes and think, wow, they get paid to work out for a living. That must be nice. But you definitely start to feel a little bit of how they feel, the pressure they're under when it's go time, and just kind of how these workouts are designed to be fitness tests and not just regular old CrossFit workouts. So you can definitely see how if you're going through this week after week, how it starts to break your body down, being in competition season more or less. As great as it was to test my fitness and the environment we have here at CrossFit Fenton for Friday Night Lights, I'm happy that it's over and that we get a quote unquote off season and we can start to just do lower volume stuff, work on our weaknesses and work on stuff that's a little bit more fun. I did a Metcon yesterday that somebody said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because it looks like fun. Then we haven't been able to do that for a couple of weeks, so it's nice to be away from those soul-crushing open workouts and back to regular training again." So those are my thoughts. Any last-minute thoughts from you guys, Zach, Dustin, Mitch?
Yeah, I think the only last thought I have is for all the criticism it got, if you look at the leaderboards, it seems like the same people are up there at the top. So CrossFit knows what they're doing. I remember when they got rid of sectionals and brought in regionals, everybody was upset just the same way they were this time. But when you really look at it, the cream's going to rise to the top. They know what they're doing from the programming standpoint. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, no amount of changes will stop Matt Frazier from getting to the top. So even though he's already got an invite, he's just going to win everything anyways for the money. So
I think that was one of the more interesting things I didn't expect. CrossFit reminds me a lot of track and field. It's a completely different stimulus and in every way possible. But like in track, you do the same event. Like let's say I run the 400 meters. I'm going to look up on westvirginiaprep.com and see what so-and-so did across the state in the 400 meter like that weekend. And CrossFit's the same way. Like we do the same event and you see how you stack up against other people, and to see what some of these people are doing, like Matt Fraser for example was it
6:54
finished that whole workout 6:54. Like you watch it and you're like, he makes it look easy, but then you attempt the workout and you're like, this guy is freaking amazing, like beyond my comprehension of this dude's capacity. 6:54, like to do all that work just blows my mind. I think that's what's really cool. Like you have a greater appreciation for these people because you understand what they've gone through, to some extent. It's just really neat. Very similar to track. So for people that like track and field, like they ran back in the day or whatnot, I think CrossFit would be enjoyable for them.
If you have a heart in your chest and muscles in your body, I think CrossFit is for you. I might be biased though.
I love it.
All right, guys. Well, what we'll see next after we get off this is we'll splice in the rest of the ICE faculty. So you'll see some videos from the rest of the ICE faculty that couldn't be here today, talking about their thoughts on 19.5 and then their thoughts on the Open as a whole. So we'll kind of just put those together piecemeal at the end of the video for you. Thanks, Zach, Dustin, Mitch, for being here live. Appreciate it. See you guys.
Thanks, y'all. Good work, guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Dr. Jeff Moore coming at you actually from Anchorage, Alaska. Just chiming in with my thoughts about the CrossFit Open overall. Unfortunately, I couldn't do 19.5. I was up here in Anchorage and couldn't get the logistics down to get to a gym. I was teaching a course up here, so I was unable to get that in during the assigned time. But a few thoughts just overall, kind of looking at the Open. I had an absolute blast. I'm thrilled I jumped in. Obviously, I'm a very average or below average CrossFit athlete, but was able to engage in each of the workouts more than I expected. I thought that I was going to hit a bunch of them where I couldn't even really participate because I didn't have the skills, whereas it was more set up where I could do quite a bit of it and then ultimately hit a skill that I didn't have, which I would say was one of my biggest takeaways, in that I've never been overly hungry for mastering the skills. I've always just really enjoyed the workouts. But now that I've kind of got open fever, I know this year I'm going to work really hard to get after those strict handstand push-ups and things like muscle-ups, because that'll allow me to get a full stimulus next time the open comes around, because those are the kind of things that hit me and stop me in my tracks. And then I would often finish the workout scaled. So like when I was down at CrossFit Fenton there in Michigan, I would do the RX version, get as far as I could, get my one muscle up, and then finish with the scaled version. So I know that the open has made me very hungry to learn these skills. So next season, hopefully I can complete all the workouts and get a maximal stimulus. So that's one big takeaway. Another one is, boy, did this increase intensity. You know, when you've got a coach standing right there, you know, it's different when you're in a class of, you know, 8, 10, 15 people, and the coach is kind of circling, you know, and giving you cues every now and then. That's one thing. But when someone's right on you the whole time, like, hey, make sure you're going deep enough, and hey, keep breathing, and those cues and that pressure really increase intensity. And I know for me, as I've gotten older, intensity is oftentimes the thing that's missing in my workouts. So to have, you know, once a week where I knew that I was going to get laid out pretty good because somebody was driving me, I got a ton of value out of that. The other thing I'll mention before I close is, boy, did this build my respect for my teammates, for my ICE comrades, because seeing the scores those folks were putting in, the guys and gals on the ICE team, were really incredible. And while I knew there was a fitness gap there, I think it makes it that much more clear and certainly deepens my respect for the caliber of athletes that we have on the ICE crew. So really enjoyed having the leaderboard and watching everybody strive for success during the past 5 weeks, and absolutely thrilled. I would really encourage anybody who feels that the open maybe is out of reach. I hope they all realize that there's a scaled version on every workout. Even the ones that aren't scaled, you can often do a lot of the workout before you hit those hurdles. So really consider, for those of you who didn't this year, jumping in next year, what a fun 5 weeks. And please consider being on the ICE leaderboard next year so we can all track each other and have some great dialogue. So thanks to Alan. As always, Alan kind of captaining the ship and keeping us organized and doing these recaps and organizing the team. So thanks to Alan for the leadership as always. And thanks everyone who was involved. Can't wait for 2020. Fully intend to show up with string muscle ups, with strict handstand push-ups, and hopefully that can get me a little bit further into the open. So thanks everyone. Take care. Thanks for those who watched. We'll see you on the road.
Okay. Hello from Seattle. I'm Dr. Sarah Heron.
I'm Dr. Jordan Berry.
And we are coming at you live from Aero Physical Therapy. Jordan's going to spend the day with me today. And neither of us have done 19.5 yet, so we are going to discuss our strategies or our fears or what we've seen with the other athletes. So on Friday, at the gym that I coach at, we did Friday Night Lights. And the people who had the most success were those who broke it up sooner than later.
Both movements?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people who did like big sets of thrusters, you know, like 23 thrusters and then 10 or something, they were gassed. They were the same people who were trying to do like butterfly chest to bar, and they aren't efficient at that. And then people who did single chest to bar did great. So
really?
I might be using that strategy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Did you see anything like that?
Yeah, same story. I mean, my game plan is probably, you know, in the first 2 sets, do 3 or 4 sets of thrusters and chest to bar, and hopefully then turn on for 15 and 9, and hopefully do those unbroken.
Do you think you're going to finish?
I don't know if I'm going to finish, but I'm going to at least beat Zach Long. That's the goal there. So I think Zach had like 20 reps left to finish, so my goal is to probably have 19 or under. Okay. Yep.
So I'm fearful of thrusters. That's a movement that metabolically taxes me to the max, and I get a little mental about it. Chest to bar I feel okay with. Many of you guys know I broke my hand this year, so I feel weak in pulling and anything on the rig. I feel like my hand doesn't have that endurance. Yeah. So I may be doing singles, which maybe that will save me, and then I can get through my thrusters.
Yeah, I'd say my biggest thing will probably be my front rack is still a little bit limited. So high rep thrusters will kind of gas out my arms, which will probably end up limiting chest to bar. Yeah. Deep into it. Yep.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So we're going to go at about 1 today. So we'll see what happens. Thoughts overall on the Open this year?
I thought it was a good mix of, so like thinking back to 19.1, it was cool because right off the bat, a lot of people were able to like RX.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. I thought this year there was enough simplicity in some of the workouts, so everyone could hit an RX workout. But then, but then also, of course, enough skill to separate the people that should be at the top. So I thought that was cool, like in dropping into a few different boxes, to being able to see like people who normally would not be able to RX a workout be able to work hard and hit the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I've mentioned this before. I've been doing CrossFit since before there was scaled options. And so I'm always a big fan of like going for the RX just to get that score and recognizing that this is just one workout of the year. I've had plenty of workouts where I've had really low scores because I couldn't do like the next thing. In fact, the first year that I had to do chest to bar was a thruster chest to bar workout. I think this was in 2012 or 11. It was the one we did last year, the repeat.
Okay.
And my score was 3 because I got 3 thrusters and then I could not get a chest to bar. So, but like on Friday, I judged an athlete who got through her 33 thrusters and we spent like 14 minutes, no, longer than that, 17 minutes getting her very first chest bar. She got 1. It was amazing.
That's huge.
It was huge. Yeah, so fun. So I always recommend that for people, and I agree that this open was a little bit more approachable that way. I thought it was a fun open, actually.
Some new stuff. Programmed rest.
Programmed rest. Yep. The strict handstand push-up was fun, and I really liked those dumbbell step-ups, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. No, but I think it was cool too. I mean, like every year, it's cool to see, the communities happen, like the Friday Night Lights, like all these big events to get people to interact and have that community feel and work out hard with their friends.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Okay. Good luck later.
Good luck.
Woo! Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good day. See ya.